Hello everyone, so I hope this video finds you well. Real quick, if you haven't already, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to this video. It really helps us out, and this is going to be our first giveaway video. So this is a 1996 Cummins, 5.9 obviously. It has a S363 with kind of a small AR housing, and what we're going to be doing is putting this truck on the rollers here. We're going to have a little contest. We're going to give you guys about 7 days to put down your guesses on what it's going to make for horsepower and torque. What we're going to do is we'll average the differences together, and whoever's closest on both will win the contest. Now, what are we going to give away? Nothing crazy, but if you would like to get like a $25 gift card or something along those lines, that's your time. We'll see if you can shine. All you coming guys, I know you're going to like this one. So, this is honestly a mild setup. It is tuned to be on more of the daily driver / towing setup side. It's not going to be crazy high horsepower. It's not going to be super smoky. With that being said, let's get into it. We already touched base. We've got the S363 over here. It's on the smaller AR housing. I want to say it's a 0.72 if I'm not mistaken. If I could do it again, probably would go with the 0.80, but it does spool really nice, which is what the owner wanted. Sounds really good. It's got a billet wheel in it, and it does just fine. Now, we have the Crazy Carl's, I believe it is, intake. I wish this had a little bit more of a radius in it, but it sounds awesome and it's really good quality, so not complaining there. Pusher, intercooler piping with power-driven diesel intercooler boots to make sure we can hold that boost. Wastegate set right around 40-ish pounds. We have DDP stage 2 injectors. I want to say they're right around 85 horsepower. And we have a stock P7100 pump. The fuel plate inside is a DDP fuel plate. I want to say it's a maximum of 120. We have it pulled back just a hair, nothing crazy, but once again, this truck is set more for towing and not all out performance here. EGTs are really mild. We're trying to target about probably around 1200 peak on the street, and that's under really heavy load and acceleration. On the dyno, we'll probably see a little bit less, probably targeting about 1100 on the dyno. That's really conservative. You know, these trucks can very easily sustain 1250, 1300 on the EGTs. I mean, even if you peaked and touched, say 1450 or even 1500, that wouldn't worry me too much. I mean, the guys that are doing really heavy dyno pulls or truck pulling or seating, well excess of that. But this is a customer's truck. Once again, I cannot stress this enough. It is tuned very conservatively. It's an MV4500 truck. It has an upgraded clutch in it. It has big tires. The tires are right around 35.5, 36 inches. And we're not sure on the rear gear ratio. I'm going to have to verify that, but I'm guessing it's probably around a 373. Possibly a 410, but I'm going to guess it's probably a 373. Truck does really good. It makes a lot of good power. I'm cruising in fourth gear at like 2,000 RPMs. It really seems to pull pretty well. We have a DPS exhaust manifold on it because it had the single piece when it came in. And the history on this truck is it came in pieces. A 16-year-old kid had it. They had the smoke screw or the AFC adjustment all the way basically towards the front of the truck, to where the spring did not have any pressure on it. There was actually about an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch of play in that spring. So you could literally wiggle it back and forth inside the AFC housing. They had no fuel plate on it. They had tried to adjust the timing themselves, and that's actually what stopped the truck from running, is they did not reinstall the injection pump timing gear correctly, and it spun the shaft inside of the timing gear. A new owner had gotten it. He tried to take it apart and put it back together himself. We got the truck without the fuel rail, or not fuel rails, because this is a mechanical pump, without the injector lines on it and without the P-pump on it. The turbo was originally it was like a S369 off of a old Killer Bee setup. It was actually meant to be the bigger turbo on a twin turbo setup. And it had like a ridiculously large, I want to say it was like a 0.92 AR or something ridiculous. It was big. The previous owner said the most he ever saw was like 18 pounds of boost. And that's probably because all it was doing was dumping a ton of smoke and probably not spooling at all. We did do a compression test on it before we did all this other work to it. And it had 420 PSI across all cylinders with 220,000 miles on it. And being that there was a young kid that owned this truck, I'm sure it was beat to hell. We did have a fast system on it, but once again, like everything else on the truck, it had not been installed improperly and it was just a mess. We were having trouble with it, with the pickup tube on it, and we ended up going to just a regular sump setup. Also installed the factory lift pump on it. And right back there, we got some bling with the LarryBs fuel pressure gauge setup. Those things are awesome. Verified that we have about 28 pounds at idle, somewhere between 28 and 30 pounds at idle, about 40, 42 under load, which is right where it should be. I mean, that's pretty good for the mechanical. We also use their fuel regulator return right here off the pump. And that's pretty much it. The exhaust, of course, has the HX40 downpipe on it, but it does neck down back to like a 3.5-inch exhaust. I don't know why. It has a muffler on it, but it's a straight through muffler. The owner's planning to put just a straight 4-inch on it at some point. But it does neck down a little bit. I don't think that's going to really hurt us on the dyno because we're not going to be making, 500-600 horsepower on this setup, obviously. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys. I cannot emphasize this enough. It is a very, very conservative setup, tuned towards towing. Timing is set right around 14 degrees before top dead center. So probably could have got a little bit more out of it going to 16 or 18. But once again, trying to keep those cylinder pressures down, trying to keep the EGTs under control, and more importantly, make this thing last another 225,000 miles. So I hope that covers all the bases, guys. Like I said, go ahead and comment down below what you think it will make for horsepower and torque on the dyno. Keep in mind, it will probably be hot and humid because the entire summer has been hot and humid. So I'm guessing we're going to be dynoing right around 1,000 feet in elevation. Temperatures will probably be, I'm guessing, probably in the 90s, probably with at least 50% humidity. So we're going to post the results in 1 week. 1 week. That's how fast you have to get it in. Winner's going to get a nice gift card, maybe a couple other goodies. We'll have to see. We will announce the winner as well. So get those comments in. Remember, if you like these videos, continue to like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate all the feedback, all of our good customers. We're small here. We're not out here making big professional videos because we got more important things to do on customers' vehicles, but we really appreciate everything you guys have done for us. You encourage us to keep making these videos. That's enough self-indulgence. Post what you think it'll make, and y'all have a safe day. As always, love your friends, love your neighbors, take care of those in need, all the way.